Hello, my name's Nick Housby, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Accunea Limited. Accunea was set up as a spin-out company through Imperial College in London and has been developing a new type of medical device in which we can monitor and assess organs prior and post-surgery. So the problem we're trying to address initially is that of kidney disease, and there are 100 million people worldwide suffering from this at any one particular time. The only cure is for transplant, and the second line of defense in this is with dialysis. Dialysis is far more expensive, and the longevity of patients is compromised using this technology. So a transplant is the preferred route forward. What you may not know is that 20% of organs are actually discarded in theatre because they do not follow the criteria to the letter, and are termed those marginal donors or extended criteria donor sets. We know that of that 20% that are discarded, around 50 to 60% could actually have been used successfully. So we're providing a solution that actually assesses the organ in a preoperative setting using our continuous real-time technology, and then to monitor the patient post-surgery at their bedside. And the product is shown in this slide behind the Perspex box that contains the kidney linked to the machine through probes which have different places of insertion. And this is based on a reperfusion that pushes a solution of oxygenated buffer or blood around the organ prior to surgery. And this is from this that we can define the quantitative measure of the organ's function. The device has been developed up to stage 3 on this slide, and as you can see, it's gone from a larger footprint down to a very small one. It's a bedside or theatre device that fits nicely into this reperfusion system format. So we have protection around the IP. We have 2 patents, one in terms of the auto-calibration system internal to the device, and a method for using this technology to provide creatinine measures in a patient in real time. An FDA report has been very positive, and our closest competitors, as you can see on this slide, are really the larger companies looking at point-of-care systems where they only have a single point-in-time measurement, whereas our system is very simple. It attaches to an already in-situ cannula and can do the measurements in real time for all of those measures of metabolic and functional biomarkers that we would like to see at the bedside. Target market for taking this product out is initially in the EU, but then in the USA. We know that the transplant market is 28.5 billion. We're trying to address that, and in terms of looking at the figures, we can see that our serviceable, obtainable market is around 70 million. In order to generate those revenues in our revenue model, we're relying on the basis that we will do a single patient cost, that is a business-to-business model, saving the healthcare system money in terms of dialysis, but also more importantly do the testing. And so we can come up with screening those 20% of marginal donors, increasing the pool of organs as described there, because we will see 50 to 60% of viable organs within that. Traction is currently within the NHS in Europe and in the USA. We're looking to increase our revenue in the future by using different products across liver, heart, pancreas, small bowel and lungs, and other project verticals which will sit in different markets as described below in that slide. The investment required is 5 million. This gives us a runway of 12 to 18 months. We're expecting that it will see an ROI of 5 to 10 times in 3 to 5 years, and potential early exit through acquisition. The team of people that we've got to do this include myself, and I have worked with several young businesses before, one of which went to exit. And now we also, within that team, have Nicholas Hitchens, who is a seasoned expert in engineering and taken medical devices through to market using regulatory advice. Senior scientist here is Anna Garott, expert in protein biochemistry, and our Chief Financial Officer is Warren Dello. We have a very superior non-executive expert advisory board consisting of Vasilios Papaloias, leading opinion leader in kidney transplantation, and Professor Martin Patel at Imperial in sensor development, and Rob Leaney, who was doing a PhD in Martin's lab and came up with the idea for this particular device. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Victor Francis and I'm Business Development Director at DIVERSA Technologies. DIVERSA is an early-stage biotech company that specializes in new drug delivery systems to deliver a wide variety of molecules. DIVERSA started in Santiago de Compostela, Spain, in January 2022. We obtained pre-seed funding from the Galician government. We currently sit at 7 employees, 1 patent, and we have commercial activities all around the EU and the UK. We're seeking investors for a seed funding round to be closed in Q3 2022. The idea of DIVERSA started recognizing the problem that almost 97% of new molecules discovered in basic research labs around the world will never make it to the clinic, either because they're not soluble, because they get degraded, or because they cannot enter the inside of the cell, which is where 3 out of 4 new molecules have their target. With our technology, we want to give new opportunities to some of these molecules to make it to the clinic and to the patient. Our technology is based in lipid nanoemulsions that are both biocompatible and biodegradable, and they can be used in drug developments in the pharmaceutical, cosmetic, and nutraceutical industries. Our patent protects these nanometric vehicles and has been granted in the EU, and it's still pending for the US, Canada, Japan, and Korea. The systems are in the nanometric scale between 100 and 200 nanometers, and their charge is very close to zero, neutral, because we do not use cationic lipids to bind our cargo, and this gives us a competitive edge when it comes to lower toxicity. We've also checked the stability of these drug delivery systems. We've done long-term stability for some of our products, and their shelf life is up to 2 years. We've also looked at shorter times with different cell culture media and sera, FBS, that are used by some of our customers in research. We also looked at different biological relevant fluids, such as human plasma, synovial fluid, tear fluid, gastric, intestinal, that mimic different administration routes. The nanosystems are very biocompatible. We've checked that in different cell types like fibroblast and hepatic cells FG2, and we've also looked at in animals like mice and zebrafish embryo. In any of the cases, very high doses of our nanosystems affected the viability or survival of the model. The nanosystems are very versatile in that they combine different types of molecules, from small drugs, peptides, proteins, to different types of oligonucleotides, all of them with very high association efficiencies. Not only can they bind different types of molecules, but they can put them inside the cells, which is 3 out of 4 new molecules have their targets, and that's our aim. You can see that after 60 minutes, 100% of the nanosystems were inside these cells. When we do biodistribution assay using radio-labeled nanosystems injected via the tail vein, we see that the nanosystems accumulate mostly in the liver, kidneys, and spleen, which is typical for lipid-based drug delivery systems, but we also see accumulation in the blood and the lungs, which opens avenues for treating diseases in these tissues. When we compare intraperitoneal and intravenous injection, we see that the results are very similar. Our business model is threefold. We offer kits that are ready to go to the entire research community in the form of kits. We also offer co-development projects, which are tailor-made formulations for our pharma and biotech partners, and we do our own R&D. The kits are sold for checking cell internalization and internalization of small drugs, peptides, and proteins. We currently sell them all throughout Europe, via distributor Tebubio, and we're looking for distributors both in America and in the Asian market. The co-development projects are more tailor-made formulations for our pharma and biotech partners. They start as a service agreement. The company sends us their molecule, we reformulate it in our lab in Santiago, and within 10 weeks, we give back testable prototypes. The prototypes are then compared side by side with the original molecule, unformulated molecule, and the ones that have a higher therapeutic activity can then enter a license agreement if the customer agrees to it. We can offer non-exclusive licenses for specific indications and commercial development. Our story so far is we incorporated in 2022. We are offering our ready-to-go kits through distribution. We have the first co-development projects with biotech and pharma companies. We're looking at more of those. We're developing new products, especially a kit for encapsulating mRNA. And we are also looking for territorial expansion to America and Asia. Thank you very much and hope to see you soon.
Hello, I am Eduardo Jørgensen, medical doctor and CEO at Medicsen, where we're developing a needle-free smart patch for painless drug delivery through the skin, a device that was awarded by MIT as the Spanish Innovation of the Year 2017. And we founded the company because needles are a pain in the ass, for patients and for the world. Because we still take 16 billion needles yearly around the world that end up generating up to $3 billion in costs associated to accidental injuries every year in the United States alone. And on top of that, 80% of the users of needles are unsatisfied and demanding alternatives. Something that I learned when a young girl with diabetes refused to keep injecting insulin while in my hospital consult, because she had to take at least 3 shots per day, which means over 1,000 injections every year. So we invented a small piece of technology that can generate micropores in the skin. And it works by using completely safe ultrasound waves that increase the size of the natural pores in the skin temporarily, then push the big molecule drugs through, and those pores close back again once we stop the device. And the device was built into a needle-free smart patch, completely wearable and comfortable for the patient, that has 2 components. A durable piece that's there to last for 3 years and includes the electronics, battery, ultrasound generator. And there, a disposable and recyclable piece that includes the drug reservoir and the adhesive to stick it to the skin. And it's made to last for 3 days. The device can work with multiple different drugs such as heparin, insulin, antibodies, vaccines. And in a typical use case, it's the patient that fills the reservoir with traditional drug syringes like insulin pens, places the device on the arm or the abdomen, and when activated, it takes less than 1 minute to fully deliver the required amount, and it is completely safe and painless to use. And this is a big improvement because despite having a needle-free drug delivery market that's growing to reach 25 billion euros by 2026, the solutions that we can find out there still have major challenges, like jet injectors that are bulky and painful, microneedles that are disconnected, and implants that are unsafe for drugs like insulin because you cannot take them out of your body. So despite having a huge competitive landscape with big companies, these are failing to address the main user needs around comfort and needle-free technology. So we would be able to position our ultrasound smart patch among these patients. In fact, at least 10% of the population has trypanophobia, which is extreme fear for needles. Because our device is painless, wearable, and it offers a connected environment that allows telemonitoring. So far, we have protected our intellectual property, and we have a granted patent in Europe, extended to PCT. We have validated our technology in vitro through 5 years of trials to prove permeability and safety. And we secured strategic international partners in order to conduct future distribution and manufacturing efforts seamlessly. All thanks to our wonderful team with over 15 professionals, including engineers that come from NASA and MIT, or a healthcare team that grew up in Philips and Roche. And our business side has been successful with previous sales of medical technology. We plan on entering the market with a B2C model, direct to consumer, with a subscription for €100 a month that will include the monthly shipment of disposables to the patient. Because the manufacturing costs in the end are under €300 for the smart pads and under €1 for the disposables. And we also expect reaching agreements with pharmaceutical stakeholders in different verticals to perform licenses, for example, with Pfizer for IgG, with Synthetica for heparin, or with Lilly for insulin. And with this strategy, we expect to increase our user base from 500 patients the first year to over 20,000 in 2027. And increase our income from €200,000 to over 18 million, reaching break-even in 2026 once we reach 3,000 active users. And right now we're focused on finishing miniaturization and animal trials by the end of the year, so we can raise a Series A round of €4 million to conduct human clinical trials in 2023 and place the device on the market in 2024 with a CE mark as a Class 2B medical device. And we're also seeking strategic partners to conduct pilots with the smart pads and new molecules so we can increase the therapeutic areas that we can cover and reach our goal of eliminating 30 million injections of the world by 2026. So we hope that you join us for a needle-free future. Thank you very much.
Long before the global pandemic dominated headlines, there existed another silent pandemic claiming tens of millions of lives a year. Chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease and diabetes affect over 1 billion individuals in Asia, causing an economic burden of over $100 billion a year. Furthermore, COVID has shown a light on mental health and revealed that in Southeast Asia, for example, 40% of individuals are suffering from elevated levels of depression, anxiety, and stress. Coupled with medical inflation rates that are among the highest in the world, there now exists a tremendous irony for payers such as insurers and employers who are forking out more and more every year for care, yet people keep getting sicker and sicker. And while the existing healthcare model is effective at treating acute conditions, it is extremely ineffective at treating chronic conditions, which require long-term and structured care. The existing healthcare model suffers from 3 key shortcomings. First, it is reactive and transactional, where patients seek care only really when they are sick. Secondly, increased specialization in the healthcare ecosystem means that chronic disease patients typically do not get the multidisciplinary care they really need. And finally, health and wellness programs tend to focus on activities rather than quantifiable health outcomes. While the shift to telemedicine solves issues related to accessibility, it still does not really solve these 3 key issues. At Naluri, we believe the future of chronic care management is a world where there is proactive and long-term structured care for patients that integrate both mental and physical health and focuses on outcomes rather than activities. Here at Naluri, we guarantee cost savings for healthcare payers from improvements in both physical and mental health. We do this by 1, predicting accurately health conditions and costs. 2, preventing early health risks through improvements in behavioral health. And finally, 3, protecting those already afflicted by these conditions. First, we predict. Naluri works with you to combine your historical claims data with health screening data to help you better understand the current state of your organization's costs and how this will change over time. Secondly, we prevent. Naluri proactively screens and monitors your employees or policyholders to identify those with risk factors and intervenes early through behavioral health programs, well before those concerns turn into serious and expensive medical conditions. And thirdly, we protect. Naluri helps those suffering from chronic conditions or mental health issues better manage their conditions to prevent further deterioration of their condition and improve the quality of life. Holistic lifestyle modification programs like ours are not new, and research has shown that they are extremely effective. But one major problem often cited is that they are typically very expensive. Naluri solves this by digitizing the entire process to make chronic disease care as affordable as ever. Naluri's solution is a human-led, structured digital coaching program, which instills healthy habits in individuals, leading to quantifiable health outcomes. And by shifting conversations away from purely video calls between the professional and individual to text-based chat, our coaches can now serve 10 times the number of patients than before, dramatically driving down the cost to serve. In the back end, we use AI and machine learning to help our coaches be more efficient and personalize their coaching at scale. Our program has shown to be effective at improving health outcomes, both in physical and mental health markers, reducing chronic disease risk, and achieving an ROI of your investment of up to 4 times within the first year. With this data, we are finally able to quantify health expenditure savings and allow payers to reprice their risk. We started in Malaysia in 2018 and now provide care for individuals in almost 10 countries and work closely with over 100 blue-chip organizations such as corporate employers and insurers to screen and identify individuals who are at risk of chronic disease and intervene early to get them healthy, and to date have reached over 300,000 individuals across the region. We have assembled an incredibly experienced team who have built and IPO'd companies in the past, worked for the top consulting firms in the world such as McKinsey & Company, and who have deep experience in healthcare, psychology, and tech. Over the next year, we have ambitious plans to grow geographically, improve our clinical evidence base, and continue investing in building our IP. But most important of all is us staying true to our core goal, to help people achieve their healthiest and best selves.
Hi. Before I begin, I would like you to imagine a world where artificial intelligence preempts your healthcare needs and delivers quality care at your convenience. So imagine just waking up, and by the time you're done brushing your teeth or laying on your couch scrolling through TikTok, our AI would have gathered your vitals, physical health indicators, as well as informed you of your well-being scores, recommending more fluids that day because your trends indicate that you may be falling sick. Hi, my name is Jørgensen, the founder of Nervotec, and we have made this a reality. But first, here's a quick video.
Introducing Nervotec, the world's first provider of healthcare as a service. Built on proprietary technology, we measure medical-grade physiological biomarkers from any video feed. Using AI models, we generate actionable health insights accessible on any smartphone and empower users to take proactive management of their health wherever, whenever. We've revolutionized predictive healthcare, making it personalized, integrated, and sustainable for everyone. Nervotec, the future of accessible healthcare, where healthcare can truly be anywhere.
So I left the Air Force to solve the problem of escalating human factor incidents in aviation. We leveraged wearables at the time to collect data, and then we analyzed it. So we were looking for signs of fatigue, stress, and intoxication, but we very quickly ran into roadblocks. High cost of accurate wearables increased the barrier to adoption. There was also very low user adoption in the wearable space, so even if you equipped all your users with wearables, they weren't wearing it as often as they should. The biggest limitation was with so many Medicsen models, raw data was trapped in silos with no centralized ability to process it and to create more value. So I put together a team of highly skilled individuals from scientific and medical backgrounds to create a first-of-its-kind algorithm that accurately measures your vital signs from any video input. So this is how it works. We've developed our key technologies, remote photoplasmography, or RPPG for short, as well as predictive AI. Firstly, with RPPG, any video feed from any camera, in this case a selfie from a smartphone, is all we need to measure medical-grade vital signs as shown here. Compared to a pulse oximeter, heart rate, respiratory rate, and SpO2 values are spot on. Heart rate variability also allows us to track physical fatigue and stress levels. Next, Because the RPPG is proprietary, we can extract the information needed for our predictive AI, which analyzes these vital signs and predicts any underlying health issues. This strategy of balancing measurement and analytic capabilities means more meaningful predictive analysis like blood pressure, glucose levels, and cardiovascular risk. So this is how RPPG works. Similar to smartwatches that uses a green LED, computer vision identifies my face and regions of interest. Signals are then identified and measured. So just like a pulse oximeter, we figured out how to do it entirely remotelessly and contactlessly. It is a physical measurement without any AI estimation, and that is how we get such accurate results. Embedding this technology into an app for users, we have commercialized our own Nervo health system, and as a user of our app, data from both objective vital scans and subjective inputs helps us to predict your overall health and wellness, as well as provide appropriate recommendations such as breathing exercises for you to engage in after your scan. Most of our early traction comes from clients who use our platform to monitor employees' physical health statuses, and we sought to create an engaging and meaningful experience for our users by asking them for their own inputs and recommending mindfulness activities. We've been gaining some market traction and recently signed an exclusive partnership with Prudential, and with our clinical partners, we are on track for medical grade certification by 2023. Our first major client was the NFL alumni. We are now their go-to app for past and present players to monitor their physical and mental well-being. We've also partnered with smart gyms and sports labs to create and store performance and mental wellness data tagged to decentralized identities that are stored on an enterprise blockchain. We have also entered the insurance sector, signing key partnerships with Prudential to enable their 31 million downloads of the Pulse app with our technologies. So their users can now measure their vitals, engage curated wellness interventions, and monitor their progress objectively with our scans, simply through an app and on a phone that they already own. This has proven strategically effective in penetrating markets in Asia and Africa, where the adoption of wearable technology has been slow. So last use case is obviously corporate wellness and health. Mental fatigue and burnout is a global issue, but now with our solution, we can help prevent and mitigate burnout, plus improve the productivity and mental resilience of staff. Leveraging technology to aid in the accessibility of healthcare is the core of what we do here at Nervotec. Firstly, our solution is cost-effective. With just a fraction of a wearable, you're able to monitor your health with medical-grade accuracies, enabling the inclusivity to preventive and predictive health. Secondly, with more than 6.5 billion smartphone subscriptions worldwide, this large group of people can monitor their health from any parts of the world without the need for additional hardware or purchases. So ultimately, you are able to bring healthcare to the people in rural areas, which consists of almost half of the world's population. We've seen a future that is highly accessible to value-based healthcare, a higher quality of life, all without perceivable senses or traditional wearables. And we've built this future, truly enabling healthcare anywhere. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John, co-founder and CEO of Vigor. Our mission is helping more than 600 million people around the world with chronic respiratory disease to access care and achieve better health and clinical and financial outcomes. Asthma and COPD are the two most common chronic respiratory diseases, and both have no cure. COPD is the world's third leading cause of death. In the United States, asthma and COPD account for more than $100 billion of direct healthcare expenses each year. For U.S. health plans, COPD is 62% more expensive than diabetes. Years of evidence have shown that comprehensive pulmonary rehabilitation is the best therapy for COPD. Yet less than 5% of U.S. health plan members receive this care. That's because chronic respiratory diseases require more care coordination and clinical disciplines than just about any disease except cancer. Vigor uniquely addresses these problems by delivering consumer-led, home-based respiratory care, remotely monitored via connected devices and supported by multidisciplinary care teams. Vigor has a European patent and 2 US patents for a data science platform, which aggregates data from a multitude of sources, including IoT devices and wearables, into a cloud command center, which uses machine learning to generate behavioral and predictive interventions. These interventions are delivered by a multidisciplinary care team directly to patients wherever they are via mobile apps. All of this is built on a robust security infrastructure that has passed evaluation by Stanford University's Data Risk Assessment team. Vigor's Big Data Personalized Care platform uses real-time data and clinically guided automation protocols to deliver improved outcomes. Vigor's multidisciplinary care team consists of a dozen clinical disciplines tightly integrated on our platform to deliver comprehensive pulmonary rehabilitation and a range of related services, including medication therapy management. Vigor's service components were developed and proven by global pulmonary experts, more than a dozen of them, 8 of whom are pictured at the bottom of this slide. As a result, leading pulmonologists such as Dr. Nicola Hananaya at Baylor College of Medicine and the $12 billion Harris Health System in Houston say this: Vigor is much more than remote patient monitoring. They provide counseling, education, exercise, nutrition, and medication management. Comprehensive pulmonary rehabilitation services. We need this. Vigor's clinical programs have been proven to reduce emergency department visits, hospital admissions, and total bed days, resulting in significant reductions in total cost of care and improved quality ratings for health plans. Vigor is going to market in the United States through large national payer associations and top 10 national payers where we have strategic relationships. We are planning paid pilots with Community Health Choice Health Plan in Houston, multiple Blue Cross Blue Shield plans, Humana's $41 billion government division, and multiple Kaiser Permanente divisions. In India, Vigor is going to market in partnership with 2 of their largest pharmaceutical companies. In India, we have a clinical partner named Questa Cares, which has conducted market research and product development and testing and deployment with Vigor under a contract that gives us full ownership of all intellectual property rights and work products. Questa began caring for patients in India using our platform in May of this year. India has about 1/3 of the world's COPD patients. Vigor's management team has deep experience in large and startup organizations. We have produced 3 acquisitions and 1 IPO in our former startups. Vigor's commercial advisor is global marketing manager for respiratory for a multinational pharmaceutical company. Our medical director is Kaiser Permanente's most recent chairman of pulmonology. Vigor's medical advisory board consists of leading pulmonologists from top academic medical centers in the United States. Vigor has raised 2 seed rounds that have funded our product development so far. We are now raising another seed round to fund scale up so that we can support U.S. health plan pilots and scale up our India deployment. Please contact me at the email address on this slide with your interest and questions. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone, at the Asia Healthcare Innovation Summit competition. I am Amir Bozorgzadeh, the co-founder and CEO of Virtuleap. We are thrilled to have made it into the finals this year. Our company has been working steadily through the past 3 years, right at the intersection of the neurosciences and virtual reality, in order to address the huge impact that cognitive disorders have on society, most especially Alzheimer's disease, in countries across Asia, we already have older adults outnumbering children for the first time in history. The call to action among startups is, can we apply and leverage emerging technologies like virtual reality in order to better profile the cognitive health of individuals? And more importantly, can we introduce new methodologies that can detect the early onset of cognitive illnesses, not just years, but decades before their early onset? Now, screen-based devices are really cool, but they ultimately exclude the body. Virtual reality is literally the first embodied digital format that hijacks the whole human system into believing the experience is real. Why? Because we as humans are not designed to live in more than one reality at the same time. And so when I'm in a virtual reality experience, my knees will buckle and shake if I'm standing in a virtual, tall building if I have a phobia of heights. It doesn't matter that I know I'm in my living room. The rest of the body, the autonomic nervous system, our vestibular balance system, our proprioception believe this experience is real. And that translates into higher quality of engagement, which means higher adherence levels, which means better quality data. Not only that, but the killer feature of virtual reality is that it captures volumetric data sets. We're talking psychological and psychometric data that comes from the actual software content. On top of that, we're tracking and capturing postural data, gesticulation of the arms, being able to track little tremors and subtle shaking of the body. Not only that, but the third dimension of the data we're capturing is physiological sensors, biosensors like pupil dilation tracking, heart rate variability, and skin conductivity. We have algorithms right now running in our system that calculates using those biosensors whether a person is focused, whether they're bored, whether they're stressed out. Their cognitive load is actively tracked in real time. And so at Virtuleap, we've created a library of VR cognitive games designed by our neuroscientists to test and train a range of cognitive abilities like memory and problem solving and information processing, but also motor control skills, spatial orientation, spatial audio awareness. We've created 15 of these VR exercises to date, and they don't just span across these 7 neat categories. They actually target 22 cognitive categories that are subchild functions. So for example, memory breaks down into working memory, short-term memory, episodic memory, long-term memory. And we've created a very sophisticated backend system that offers organizations like nursing homes, pharmaceuticals, hospitals, and healthcare systems, not only a way to manage the data and the user activity, but also we provide companion tools like the remote control application that using your phone, you can remote navigate the whole experience just with a low polygon version, navigate them through the login, the games, the reporting. It makes telehealth ultimately so seamless and feasible in virtual reality settings. And in fact, we're running a pilot right now with Roche in Portugal to use it as a remote cognitive monitoring tool. We have another pilot in Japan where they're also using the remote control to see if they can speed up clinical trials of pharma-related neuroscience drugs. We stand apart from the pen and paper and screen-based kind of neuropsychological assessment tools that haven't really evolved in decades maybe I think 5 decades, in fact, or the 2D brain training after the second row, because again, virtual reality goes above and beyond just typing and tapping with your fingers on a screen. It engages and hijacks the whole body, which means higher quality of data, but it also means volumetric data sets that in fact we have in our roadmap the plan to take those volumetric data sets and with the help of AI learning algorithms, create digital health biomarkers that could potentially detect cognitive illnesses and subtle patterns in your gameplay data years, again, maybe even decades before its onset. We have over 44,000 early registered users. Our application on the B2C store is available across 5 different languages, including Mandarin Chinese, Japanese, English, Spanish, and Portuguese, and we'll be supporting a few more languages this year. We have a number of pilots underway. I mentioned some of the pharma ones, but we have MIT, for example, applying our solution for an education training areas. We have pilots that have shown since last month that our tool can actually increase ADHD related deficits, like increasing processing speed in adults with ADHD. The applications for our technology is tremendous. And even though we are going down that regulatory pathway, we do not have to wait for it in order to make money. We've closed 1.5 million in sales when we came out of stealth this year, and we're going down that trajectory of probably having about 3 to 4 million in sales by the end of this year. Our team is a mix of scientists and game developers working hand in hand at this amazing intersection in which our mission is to show that virtual reality's most critical feature is in addressing and overcoming the greatest battles and challenges we have facing our society. Thank you so much for your time.
Robotics, AR, VR, digital health, these are some of the hottest trends in healthcare because they're supposed to leverage cutting-edge technology to improve care for large groups and populations. But at Woven, we were able to create a simple, elegant mechanical technology that doesn't leverage the latest trends, yet improves outcomes, enhances efficiency, and reduces costs on a massive scale so that we can reduce surgical complications and extend the time we get to spend as healthy, active people. I'm Brandon Bendies, president of Woven Orthopedic Technologies, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about our patented and clinically proven Augment technology, which is designed to improve care in orthopedic surgery for patients who receive one of more than 1 billion threaded devices implanted annually. Now, this isn't an idea or an experimental technology that can help us in the future. This is here and now. This is a technology whose design is completed and validated. It's protected by 31 patents, has been proven safe and effective in clinical study, is cleared for use in the US and Europe, has a supply chain that withstood the impact of COVID supply shortages, and is already achieving initial traction and strong results in the Western world. So allow me to present to you our Augment Implant Enhancement System, which is the first technology to increase both strength and bony ingrowth to enhance fixation between screws and bone in compromised fixation scenarios. You can think of it as a wall anchor used in the construction industry only for human bone. Because in orthopedic surgery, bone fixation systems like screws and plates and rods are used to stabilize bone to promote proper healing after surgery. And strong fixation between hardware and bone is essential for successful outcomes. Yet surgeons still experience significant challenges when implanting screws and hardware, routinely encountering scenarios that make it difficult to achieve good quality fixation. For example, surgery in patients with poor quality bone or poor bone healing, high force environments caused by certain injuries or deformities, or limited provider resources or skills. And unfortunately, current techniques to enhance fixation aren't always applicable, expensive, require precision to implement, and they also force surgeons to choose between increased strength or increased bone growth. But with these current techniques, complications are still high, 10 to 80%. 25% due to insufficient hardware fixation, and 1 out of every 3 patients requires a repeat surgery. In fact, late last year, Hamamatsu University in Japan released a study that in a multi-level spine surgery, up to 72% of patients experience screw loosening by 2 years after their surgery. So our Augment Implant Enhancement System offers a simple, efficient, cost-effective solution. It's simple because it's implanted in under 2 minutes in minimal steps using existing fixation systems on the market. It's efficient because it offers both increased strength and bone ingrowth, and it uses only a few SKUs with no equipment, logistics, or support needed, so it's easy to stock and manage for the hospital. It's also cost effective with a low unit cost that provides an immediate financial impact and makes it affordable for all markets around the globe. It works by creating a buffer between screw threads and bone to reduce and distribute stress at the screw to bone interface so bone can heal properly. It also enables bony ingrowth to the screw root to maintain fixation over time. You can see the bony ingrowth in these pictures. Augment can be applied to a wide variety of indications, but we've chosen our initial targets as spine and trauma, which represents about a $2.3 billion global market opportunity. Data has been published in top-tier peer-reviewed journals, presented at major international conferences, and recognized through industry awards. We are currently cleared for use and surpassed our 2,000 unit milestone this year with 245% growth quarter over quarter in use and 72% growth year over year. We're used in all types of procedures and have received very positive reviews across the board, multiple repeat orders from our customers, and most importantly, 0 device-related complications, revisions, or conditions so far. We're currently seeking funds and partners to help expand our commercial footprint, our size offerings, and our indications for use. We believe we can achieve profitability in about 3 years, with break even occurring at around 1.5% market share. I've shared some stats that are on the slide now to show you how we would hit those milestones, but overall a big advantage is our ability to leverage Augment Simplicity. It allows us to reduce major investments in education, training, and theater support, which ultimately makes it easier to commercialize the technology. Now, at this point, the company is significantly de-risked. Our efforts are now focused specifically on commercialization and expansion, and we're seeking both financial and strategic partners, especially to help enter markets in Asia. With a wide breadth of potential indications, use in conjunction with existing fixation systems, we have a natural pathway to exit to large strategics and significant opportunities for partnerships. And our team has successful track record building, managing, and exiting businesses, significant domain knowledge in orthopedics with fixation systems, and we have our global and domestic networks to access our customers and our distribution channels. And perhaps most importantly, we all have chemistry from prior working relationships that will help us continue our strong growth trajectory and also overcome difficult obstacles or environments that arise, like COVID, for example. So in summary, we have a big market, a unique technology, an efficient model, mitigated risk, and a high growth potential. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you all. If you're interested in further discussion, you can contact me at the information on the screen. I hope to speak with many of you and potentially take the next steps in working more closely together to bring Augment to markets in the Eastern Hemisphere. Thank you.
Well, thank you all the finalists. This pitch competition is rather unusual this year, so I want to start with making a few disclaimers on behalf of myself, Adrian, and Joseph, the 3 judges. First of all, some of the finalists were disqualified because of conflict of interest. We were already invested in some of them, and also missing submission deadlines, and so some were already out of the running. Also, we were unable to have an in-person pitch competition this year, so we were unable to ask questions and really look into the data and ask more seriously into how these companies are operating and working. And so we are basing our decision based on very limited and surface level information. And third is that the 3 of us each make our own investment decisions. We each have our own investment pockets, and we weigh things differently. But we did converge on one finalist that we were all intrigued by. And so instead of going directly into it, I'm going to highlight a few key factors that we all thought were exciting about this company. And you can try to guess which one it is. So first of all, there's a lot of upside potential in this company. We see a lot of scalability in the Asian market. And so that's the first point. Second point, it has a proof of revenue traction, which is always good. Third, it has quantifiable clinical evidence in a modular approach to getting regulatory approval in various disease settings. And so we always like to quantify our outcomes. The fourth is that it has existing partnerships with pharmaceutical companies. The fifth point is that it is already translated into Chinese and Japanese, so it is translatable into the Asian market, which is appropriate for our Asian summit, Asian Healthcare Innovation Summit. And the final point is that we thought it is very compatible with Brink's healthcare and Web3 investment focuses. And so the winner of this year's pitch competition is Virtuleap. So thank you very much to the Virtuleap team.
Congratulations to Virtuleap.
And we would definitely like to speak with you in more detail about your company. And there are other companies as well that Joseph and Adrian were interested in. And we'd love to reach out to you as well independently. But Virtuleap is the winner we decided on. So congratulations. Thank you.